Hi lovelies, how are you today? I am making this video on the last day with the Christmas tree, so I thought I'd try to squeeze it in. You see, this is the last day. The lights are so nice though. It's a shame we don't keep those sorts of things up all year. Anyway, I'm coming to you today because I have encountered some questions and I thought it might be something good to talk about in this group. So I'm sure if you're on social media at all, which obviously you are, you wouldn't be in a Facebook group, you have seen people talking about having a 2018 word or like a word of the year or something like that. And it's been going on for a while. And there's been lots of different variations on it. Essentially, the whole point of doing that is to set an intention from which to make choices from, if that makes sense. So a lot of people will choose words that feel empowering to them or inspire them or remind them of why they're doing something. So a really great idea to do that is to just brainstorm a bunch of words that have meaning for you, right? So, people pick words like bliss or integrity or integration, which was the word that I had last year. And it doesn't mean that's all you're working with. It means that when you're doing soul work, it gives you sort of a place to start from. Is it serving your purpose this year? Is it moving you forward in the direction that you want? So before you can choose your word, you kind of need to figure out the direction that you want to go. So last year for me, as I said, I chose the word integration. And for me, I knew that was something that I needed to focus on. I knew that a lot of the things I would be doing in my own personal soul work would be integrating the different parts of myself and the different parts of my life and figuring out who I am as a whole so that I can bring that out into the world. I actually considered keeping that word for 2018. To be honest, I haven't figured it out yet. And that's okay. There's no rush. So, for example, in terms of, if you've been around me, you know I like to learn. I like to learn sort of oddball things. I like to learn things that move me forward in my business, in my career, in my personal growth, in my spirituality. I mean, if you know what, really, I mean, there's not a lot that I wouldn't take a course in given the time. And yes, if you find a job that is essentially being a professional student where I can choose what I want to learn and get paid handsomely for it, please let me know. That's like my dream job. But when I choose, because let's face it, I don't have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as much as I would like to work on courses. So I have to choose. I also don't have unlimited funds yet. So I do have to choose. And the way I choose is by what's my bigger purpose? What are my goals? Where am I going with this? And when my word integration reminded me of my bigger goals. And so then I would say to myself, is this going to help me with my integration goal? Yes, no, maybe. And that would be how I would sort of guide my own life. And so don't think of it as, a word to pick, put in your New Year's resolutions, and along with your New Year's resolutions, just let it slide. Find a word that has meaning for your bigger life purpose or your bigger goals, or just something that inspires you to keep going. So the word that I was probably going to work with, and there's about 4 or 5 I'm kind of feeling out, and really that's what it is. That's what it takes. You can come up with the most fancy, beautiful, perfect, impress everyone word. If it doesn't have a lot of meaning to you, it doesn't matter. It's got to move you. And here's some of the words that I'm working with and sort of feeling out. And I think they're all very interconnected. I just haven't quite nailed the one that does it for me. So integrity, and I mean personal integrity. And that's not quite as simple as it sounds. Integration. Bliss, and as always, mindfulness. But I think when I talk about mindfulness, I talk about taking my practice even deeper and we'll see how that goes. And again, all those kind of link back together. So I'm still working on the exact word, but I wanted to just come on and talk to you about what that meant, because the questions that I'm getting are, what do I do with it once I have one? And here's my challenge to you. So about this 2018 word, I want to hear what you're going to do with it. I will tell you a couple of the things that I do with my word of the year, or I actually switched words mid-year last year, so I have trouble saying it's my word of the year. It's my word for right now. This is my refresh, reset, restart time. I actually switched my word from one that didn't really resonate with me as much as I had thought it would about mid-year, probably about June, July, when I realized that integration was my work for last year. And going forward, I mean, it's always going to be my work, but it was my heavy, big, purposeful work last year. So what do I do with it? Well, first of all, I don't just ignore it. One of my favorite things to do is to get really cool looking shapes in Post-it notes, so it's decorative, and I'll write the word on it and post it in places around my house. And there's a reason for that. It's not just because, there it is, it reminds me, which is true, but the more you see it, the more your subconscious starts to integrate and believe it. So if you're working, and that's how affirmations work for you, when your subconscious starts getting the message, then it starts integrating into your belief systems. And when your belief system changes, your thoughts change. And when your thoughts change, your actions change. When your actions change, well, guess what? Your life changes. So I do that. I actually last year created a screen from my phone, and I used canva.com, if you've heard of that, but you could just do it in like Photoshop or whatever you want. And I put the word in a really cool image that resonated with that word for me. And so every time I opened my phone, there it was, again, getting that into me in a new sort of way. And it's just those little things that are a lot of reminders. And when I went to make choices, I would ask myself, does this fit? And that would sort of give me a way to gauge, because let's face it, there's a lot of things that we all want to do, right? I mean, tell me that there are things like, 100 million things you would like to try or do or experience. And as much as we would love to try, do, and experience everything, we have to make choices. We have to choose where to spend our energy and to spend our time, because unfortunately we have limited lifespans. And our limited life means that we can't actually do everything that we might want to do. That being said, we can do an awful lot. But we do need to choose and focus and choose wisely. So, while parachuting sounds like fun, it does not to me. It may not serve my bigger purpose. And I might find that that time is spent better doing something else, like ziplining. I don't know. I know last year, one of the decisions I had to make was I had the opportunity to take a jewelry making class. That sounds cool. I would like to try that. Did it fit with integration? Not now. Maybe next year, maybe in 2018. It didn't fit with where I was going at that time. It would have taken me away from the things I was doing to serve that purpose. So I didn't go through with it. This year, just recently, I was asked to moderate a Facebook group, a really great Facebook group, and they were looking for some new moderators in the group because it was getting quite large, and they asked if I would, because I was quite active in the group itself. And I was so taken aback. I was shocked, first of all, and I was really pleasantly surprised and honored that they would ask me to do such a thing, because that's basically saying, here's my baby, can you help? Right? When you start a Facebook group for your business or for your life purpose, asking someone else to help moderate that is, to me, is a big honor. And then I said no, because if I'm going to do something like that, it's going to take a fair bit of my free time. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of free time right now. What it would probably end up doing is taking a little bit away from being in this group or writing for my blog or creating courses or, one-on-one coach, it would take away from the things that have meaning for me. So as honored as I was, and as much as I would probably enjoy doing it, I had to say, no, it didn't fit. So I hope that makes sense. I've heard a lot of people saying, okay, what's the big point about these words? Well, that's kind of the point. It's another way to help you collect your energy, focus it, and keep it there. Because it's really easy in this big, beautiful, amazing world to get distracted. So it's another way to help keep you focused and keep you heading in the direction that your heart really desires. So here is my challenge to you. I would love to know 2 things. 1, have you chosen a word for 2018? And if so, what is it, if you don't mind sharing? And I know there are some people who won't share because they believe that takes away the power of the word, and that's totally fine. Just a simple, yes, I have, no, I haven't will also suffice, but I would love to hear it because I'm really curious. And the second part, I told you a couple of the things that I do to help integrate that word into my life. So I actually am using that purposefully, and I would love to hear things that you do or might do or plan to do or have done in the past, even if it didn't work, because it may not work for you, but it might work for someone else, or we could learn from doing something that didn't work for you. For example, I tried using my word as part of a mantra when I meditated. It didn't really work for me. So, but that's another option. I mean, it's worth trying, right? Just because it didn't work for me last year doesn't mean it wouldn't work for me this year or work for you. So let me know in the comments below, what's your word of the year? And how do you plan on using it so that you can integrate it into your life and actually use that word in a meaningful, purposeful way? All right. And I appreciate you communicating with me too. And also, helping to support everyone in this group. I really appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you are here. And I will talk to you again soon. Okay? Bye. Mwah.